Okay. Okay. Hello, Michelle and team. So this call is really intended to kind of give some tips and tricks and also kind of see where you all are at as it relates to your quest to diamond. And one thing I'll start with is I had a call with some of my coaches that are also working on this. They're in this little pod too, but they couldn't all be on. But it's not like you get to diamond and then all of a sudden you're like a millionaire by any means, but it when I became diamond, it changed the game for me in terms of my confidence. And it's when I finally felt like I had my own team. And that's like the coolest thing ever.
Yep.
And that's actually, when I really became independent with leading my own groups and like just it was all me. And so I think that's one of the coolest things is just kind of getting that like edge to feel even more confident that heck,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's super important that we all achieve it because it's like it's not validation, but it's like that positive momentum to keep launching you forward and for people to keep watching you, I feel like.
Well, and it's an affirmation too, I think.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, so just I think I shared this before really quick and then I'll ask about your journey too, but my coach is nice enough, but I don't even know if she like still coaches or anything. Like we really don't have any contact. So she's never been like a growing coach and she was someone that went to high school with my sister. So when I started my journey, I started as a customer. I said no thanks to coaching for 18 months before I said yes. I was paying full price for everything, but the truth was I was so nervous. I knew I wanted to do it, but I was so nervous about putting myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just pretended I didn't have time, but that was just an excuse. Um, anyway, when I became a coach, I really had to like lean into Spartan Nation because I didn't have anyone mentoring me. So Julie and some other coaches like presented this like Rise to Diamond group or something. And I was like, sure. And I had been a coach for probably like a year and a half at this point and was Emerald. And I got on a call and I'm like many lower layers below Julie. She's just the best because she takes me on as a partner and all that. But anyway, um, she's like, okay, in 6 weeks we're becoming diamond. And I was like, okay. And I did it. And so, but really
That's awesome.
it was really just about making that decision, to be honest. And it didn't mean I started posting like crazy on social or anything like that. I just made up my mind. I looked at what I had in front of me and who I had so far, and I looked at like the math and what I needed, and I literally just I knew I needed 2 people a week in that 6 weeks to do it, and I just did it. It was crazy. And then the year later, she gave the option again to have a challenge, and I signed up again, and it was to get my husband to Diamond. 6 weeks, did it, and again, it's just about making the decision. I really believe that. And I've been telling my coaches too, like, you don't, sometimes it can be like, for me, I all of a sudden got like, okay, hold on. I need to ask my closest people in my life if they'll support me and be a part of this. And so in the beginning, I was like, genuinely posting and getting people from the outside. And I mean, the warm market still a little bit, but when I started making the decision about I'm going to keep growing my business, um, I put my mom under my husband. Like all of a sudden, I started, you know, leveraging some really close people that actually are still a part of it and love it. But
Mhm.
I was sometimes more nervous to ask them for some reason. It was so
I
weird.
hear you. I know. When I first started, my thought was, I just want people that don't know me to sign up because I don't want the pressure of being new, not knowing what I'm doing, and all of these people that I know joining me. I don't know. There was something about that was really freaky for me.
Yeah. And a lot, that's just the story we're telling ourselves, right? Um,
Absolutely.
so, anyway, that said, I believe you can achieve diamond without doing one post and having all kinds of personal connections and invites,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
It
So,
does.
I think reverse engineering, like where you need to get and, you know, making that list of your dream team and then like going after
Mhm.
it and you will literally achieve it. So, um, I'm working on this too. I got to open another CBC this year. So I have 2 Megan Kuipers and I literally have like 8 coaches on each leg, but no emeralds. And I'm like, why is this other Megan Kuiper not diamond? So that's my mission by Thanksgiving is to get another diamond on my team, which is me, and I have control over it, So
Mhm.
I'm right there with you all over again. But I hope that all makes sense. But I think sometimes we overcomplicate
It absolutely makes sense.
and we forget about the people that like mean the most and want to support us. And, and my mom genuinely like 5 years later, I mean, I know I feature her in posts and stuff, but she's still drinking the shake. She like recruits people for me. So she is a coach, but she wouldn't call herself a coach. But um, I remember being so nervous to ask her, and it's so silly. She's my biggest fan, you know? So,
Right.
um, anyway, that said, tell me what you're looking at for yourself.
Well, I really want to hit diamond by December.
Well,
I'm going.
if you do it by Thanksgiving, you got to hold it for 6 weeks. So Thanksgiving is kind of the due date.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because you have to hold
Yeah.
for 6 weeks and then, it's the new year starts January week 1 or whatever. So to achieve it this year, I mean, anytime is great, but it would be really fun for you to do it this year.
Yeah, you're right. I have 2 emeralds. No, I have 1 emerald and the other one, I need 1 more under for her to be emerald.
Okay.
I have, my right side is almost full. I think I need 1 person. And my left side is weak.
Okay.
So I think I need 3 people on my left and I need 1 person on my right. And I have 2 coaches. One of them is a controlled account.
Okay.
One of them is my daughter. So I have 1 person, 1 PC under her now. I just need another PC under her. And I thought I had that and it didn't pan out. So I'm moving on to someone else. But actually my right leg may be full.
Well, maybe after this, send me a picture of your office.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just have to look at it. I didn't look at it today yet. I was looking at other stuff in the coach office after Sarah had done that little tutorial that she posted in the group. I was in my office at that time. And so I started going through, which I do check it weekly, but not daily.
Yeah.
But I have gotten into the habit of checking it on Wednesdays for sure. And then again on Thursdays. And I do have 1 red inactive and I reached out to her today. She delayed her Shakeology because she has bags and bags of it because she's not been consistent. And she's a really close friend. So
fun. And then maybe like even has she ever tried other product, you know what I mean, like the bars or collagen or Energize?
I think she had said at one point that she was thinking about trying the collagen. It's one of those situations where, not that I'm making excuses, but I want her to be really honest with me. One of the reasons why I hesitate to ask people who are very close to me is I don't want them to feel like they're bailing on me or disappointing me or whatever if they need to make a different choice. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not giving people excuses to get out of something, but at the same time, I know how I'd feel if I had signed up with somebody to help myself, but also because it's a friend.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't jiving with it or something. And then I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to, negatively influence them. So I try to read the room when it comes to that kind of stuff a little bit.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I think when I was first becoming diamond, I didn't have to remind anyone that whole 6 weeks. And actually, I've never fallen once in my whole time of being diamond. Like I've maintained. But then when I was getting Nate to diamond, I mean, and actually, by the way, he's not an active diamond right now. I need a new emerald on his one leg. But I had to ask people, and it was like the worst thing ever. I don't like asking someone to be active. So basically, my strategy is to have a million people on every leg so that I never have to.
Yep.
So that said, I know I've told this to Jen before, and I think, hi Jen, by the way.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just walked in the door. I'm starving. I'm about to
gnaw my
arm off. So
yeah,
I'm
you can take your bra off if you want.
Mine's off.
Yeah. No, don't apologize. This is good. This is just coffee chat about getting to diamond. But anyway, I think you know this, but I was gonna say, do you start everyone as a PC or a coach?
Yes.
You
Okay.
do. I struggle with that. Like they're
Yeah.
like, oh no, I just want to try it. I just want to see if I like it.
I start everyone as a PCR coach, and that's
One
basically
second, keep
because of
talking.
you, Megan.
I have to talk to my son really quick, but keep talking.
That one of the reasons I do that is because, and Megan confirmed it for me one night, was that she, like, I don't even offer them the option of that way.
So like, but you have to tell them, like, how does that conversation go? I'm going to add you as a PC because it saves you 25%.
Yeah, pretty much. That's my not, I don't want to say selling point, but that's my thing, is that you're going to save money if we go ahead and sign you up with a total solution pack. And
Yeah, I do. It's the PC part, because I have so many people. I'm like, how did I attract these people? How are these people my friends? And it's probably because most of us are educators, but some see the value in the price that Shakeology is, but a lot of them are just like, I can't spend that amount of money. And, even with 25% off, they're like, I can go get whatever shake. And I'm like, yeah, and you're drinking sawdust. So,
right. And the other thing is like, I usually enter into the conversation of, well, how much are you spending on soda every week? How much are you spending
Yeah.
on coffee every week? How many times a week are you stopping at 7-Eleven to pick up? If you added all of that money up,
Yeah.
you're spending probably what you would spend on Shakeology, and it's giving you way more than.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that's kind of
let me
where
tell
I
you
go.
one thing. I will tell you one thing. I haven't had a money objection in years.
Okay. So how did
Really?
you get past it?
So when people use money, it's an excuse, right? It's
Right.
they're not ready. So you need to move on from those people. Like
Yeah.
if I sniff someone like kind of going down that, it's not like I'm friends with everyone that has $1 million. It's just I don't even I help them see that they need this in their life as it relates to energy, positivity, new lifestyle, whatever. They never eat. So basically, when they finally say, okay, I'm in, then I'm like, oh my gosh, fun. Okay, let me tell you the details. I'm going to send you a link. It includes these things. And the only ongoing cost is a $15.99 preferred customer fee. And all that means is that you get me as your coach forever. You get, I do a Monday night Zoom. It's a personal development Zoom. I've been doing it with Rebecca for 18 months. And you get 25% off other products. There's no monthly minimum you have to meet, but you're going to love these products so much, you're not going to want to stop. They're like, okay, that's it.
So talk to me a little bit more about your personal development Zoom, like a book study or just.
Yeah. So basically,
topic and chit chat.
Mm-hmm. So Rebecca and I started it. I met her in person, like, I don't know when it was or whatnot. And I was like, oh, we need to collaborate. And she's like, you want to collaborate with me? I'm like, yes. And I mean, these ladies say they love each other at the end of the call. I mean, the bond is like thick as there are people that do not leave me because of this situation. And I have so many now that it's like I don't have to beg people to be active. And sometimes they pause their shake and they get it the next month, whatever. But literally, I don't even give people options. I don't say, do you want to do customer, preferred customer, or coach? Like they don't know what they need. They're new.
Right.
And when I say the only ongoing thing, if they have an objection to $15.99 for me that is priceless, then I really probably don't want them, to be honest. I'm not trying to be rude. And I used to, and I will tell you, my retention rate to keeping them as PC is maybe like 60%. So like some months I lose like 3 people that drop to customer. And like 18 months ago, I would have been like, oh, that's so sad. But it didn't change my business. But I remember talking to Rebecca about it one day. I like called her and I was like, oh my gosh, I lost 3 PCs today. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, were they ordering monthly? And I was like, no. And she's like, well, they're not adding value to your team at all. And they're your customer. So when they renew and, have their renewal, you're going to get Success Club points for them again. And I was like, oh,
Mm,
yeah, good point. So like I have people that don't keep the PC. If they're not like loving the products, then don't pay me $15.99. And they're also the people that don't hop on the Monday night call and aren't really engaged. So
mhm.
I'm like, it's fine. And it doesn't hurt my feelings anymore because it has nothing to do with me. They just didn't give things a chance in my mind.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think me adding this, it's probably been almost 2 years of me saying, I kind of lead with that I'm a health and wellness coach, but I'm really rooted in the mental space now. And I'm not a doctor or anything. I pretty much, our topics that Rebecca and I bring up are things that like we hear on a podcast or we read in a book. We're not like inventing all these things.
Right.
And it just is this like 30-minute like collaboration. And we start with recognition and it's fun. Like half the people on the call are active working coaches and then half are just showing up because they love the community and they're PCs. So I only offer this to PCs and coaches. I don't let customers hop on the
Okay.
Monday night deal. So,
Okay.
and I do it, I never miss it. Like I do it all the time. But anyway, back to the original thing, like, I mean, we're pretty lucky now because it used to just be a challenge pack was always pretty much just the shakes. And now there's like all these options. So I'm sure you have that grid that shows like the different colors of the options, but I don't even send that stuff to people because that is like Chinese to them. They
Yep.
don't know.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if someone says it's too expensive, they are not ready to be committed. Just like
Exactly.
I paid for Brad. I mean, I've paid for Brad a million times and my husband doesn't even know how much because I'm like, it's my Beachbody income. I mean, he knows I'm paying for people, but I was ready. I was ready for Brad,
Yeah.
and just like the money limiting. I don't know if you guys listened to him today, but
I did.
yeah, it's great, but I believe in all he says or whatever. But my point is the money thing is just people not ready. And you don't really want that person on your team anyway, because
Right.
they're pretty high maintenance, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like the ones that are like, oh gosh, my stuff renewed and they text me, I'm like, oh, perfect. Well, don't forget to look back at the way I showed you how to stop that. Like where like the
Right.
old me used to feel terrible about it. But I honestly think like sometimes we need to, I think Michelle, you were on a call with me once, and maybe Jen, you were on it too, but like, I learned this from the Tony Robbins program I did, but every time we started the program it was earlier this year, KK, the instructor would be like, okay, here's your box, put all your limiting beliefs in the box, doubts, excuses, put the lid on it and put it under the desk for the next hour. And I think we all need to do that when we're in that inviting, connecting mode. If we invite reluctantly or nervously or feel like, oh God, this person's going to tell me they can't afford it, literally they're going to say that to you.
Yep.
But if you're like, I'm a badass, people belong on my team, this is the place to be, you're going to get that back. And I'm just like you all, I have all the lists and like, only like a handful of people even acknowledge my vivacious message. So, and I'm 6 years in. So just so you know, like, don't look at anything as rejection or anything. It's just, I don't know.
I
if
don't
this
feel
is
like I
helpful or not.
do. I don't feel like you know what, actually this week listening to Brad and the all those, yeah, the trainings with him this week have really caused me to do a lot of brain shifting because I don't take it personally anymore when people don't acknowledge me. I don't take it personally when they say no. I try to give them enough information so that they're not overwhelmed, but they feel like they're making a solid choice. And then if they don't, I just move on because I don't have time. I don't have time to dwell with someone who's going to talk it to death. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's why I was frustrated today with that lady because I had spent so much time with her, like 2 phone calls, and she's a yapper. And my eyes are rolling back in my head, but I'm like, no, gotta. And then she went and changed all the stuff in her cart anyway. I was like, I put in there exactly what we talked about, and so I emailed her back and I said, hey, that's totally fine. But these products are going to work better if you keep using them. And she was like, oh, I know, but my track record with drinking shakes isn't very good. And that's the stuff that, like, it's not a limiting belief. I don't know what you want to call it.
It's
It's
an
me being
excuse.
annoyed.
Yeah.
And it's me being annoyed with other people. I'm like, what do you mean? You drink it every morning. What's the problem? You make the shake, you go to work. Like, what? I don't get it. Like, but that's because that's what I do. And I can't relate. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
I know when someone even says they have bags and bags of shake, I'm like, how? I remember my first year, like my boys would want some, and I'm like, oh no. My next shipment doesn't even come till 2 more days. You know what I mean? Like I was like scraping the bottom of my
Yeah,
bag.
you're like at the bottom, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta check shipping. When's this coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think Julia's hopping on, which is good too. And I know this will be a little redundant because Michelle, I said this in the beginning, but when Julia comes on, I just want to break down the simplicity. Hi, Julia.
Hi. I just thought it was the shortest band concert ever for a middle school
Ooh.
band concert.
That
I
is good. That's
like
amazing.
20 minutes and done. I'm like, peace out. I gotta go.
That's awesome.
So
Okay.
I'm literally in the parking lot of the middle school.
Oh, you guys are dedicated. That's what, okay. Your guys' dedication, you can achieve whatever you want. You just how much you guys show up is like incredible. Okay. So I just can't wait for this to come full circle, and it's going to happen this month. I'm not kidding. So I told, or by Thanksgiving, I told Michelle, you guys need to hit diamond by Thanksgiving because then you start your 6 week, holding or whatever. Yeah. But here's
Right.
the deal. I will do the cliff notes, but my coach, like I don't have a coach that coaches. So I leaned into Spartan Nation years ago, and Julie was like, you should be a part of this challenge. I was like, okay. And in 6 weeks, I was a coach for a year and a half before I was like, I kind of am wondering what this is all about or whatever. So in 6 weeks, I became diamond. I did it again the year later. I got my husband diamond in 6 weeks. And it literally was me making a decision and then looking at who I had, which I didn't have very many people. And I just reverse engineered how many people I needed. And then I was like, how many people do I need to add each week? And I did it. I just did it. And I think you guys can too. And I think it's really important. A couple things, like don't overcomplicate it. And also diamond is just like a spot on the journey, but it's a really cool spot because that's when like your like confidence and your like your vibe kind of sprouts even more. Like you have your own team all of a sudden. You got a lot of people that you got to like cheer on and pump up and lead. So it's really when you start leading the most. And I love leading. So it's a really pivotal time, I believe. And I've seen it in my own coaches. I have 3 diamonds on my team, not including my husband, and one's under one of my coaches. So, but their confidence just like literally went through the roof, and they're all working moms, and they literally just made the decision and it happened. And it happened mostly because of their warm market. So I know we're going back and forth about reaching out to all your friends in America and all the things, but usually it's like people that are super, super close to you that will make it happen. So like, I remember getting down to it, and I, for some reason, even though my mom was a customer, I was like so nervous to ask my sweet mom, who's my biggest fan in America. And I was like, will you be a coach? And then I'm going to achieve this thing. She's like, sure, here's my card. And I'm like, shit, I should have asked her a long time ago. But I just don't, I really wanted tonight to tell you to not like, yes, I know they wanted us to do 100. I don't even know that I made it to that. I mean, I have a lot, but it's about quality connections and like really, really leveraging your warm market. And your warm market can be teachers that you work with, or your dog grooming clients, or your coworkers, Michelle, or your family, or your cousins, or like, I wrote out my dream team, and I literally asked them, and they like little by little were like, okay, sure. And it just really happened. So
I will say, I'm driving to Washington, D.C. on Friday. I live 3 hours north of D.C. My sister lives in D.C. My sister is like anti-beach body. She is like, she Googled every anti thing to send me, and she's like, I'm an attorney and you should listen to me. So then I emailed my friend who's also an attorney and a beach body coach, and I she's like, don't even listen to her.
And don't even like
So-
offer.
You know, so I'm not offering to my sister. Are you kidding me? Although I walked into her house last time and she had a container of collagen there, and I just wanted to spurt out to her. I'm like, you know, you could have supported your sister's business and bought collagen from her, but instead you went and supported Joe Schmo down the street in China and bought their collagen. But I digress. My mother is driving down to DC with me, and we are having the reason why she's invited is because we're having long talks about my father and his mental state and what she's doing, et cetera, et cetera. But I also want to talk to her about signing her up as a Beachbody coach as her birthday present, and that I would pay for it. She could be a controlled account under me. She wouldn't have to do anything. She'd have access to the workouts if she wanted to. She's going to be 80 in November. So I'm like, she may not. But I'm like, why am I buying first thing, last thing, Energize, collagen, Shakeology, all under one account, when my first thing could be run through her account and just delivered to my house?
Yeah.
So
That's a
my
great
plan.
example. Yeah.
My mom is under Julie.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
because my mom was on Kelsey's team. And when Kelsey left, a bunch of us went directly under Julie, and my mother is one of them. So I could have my mother under me.
Can your mom switch coaches? Probably not, because she's a coach.
And she doesn't have BOD. She just does Shakeology and Beachbody bars. And
The
collagen.
mint chocolate chip Beachbody
Well-
bars. I just bought another box today along with 2 boxes of vanilla chai because I'm down to like 4 packets of vanilla chai. And I'm going to be in ginormous sadness when I have no vanilla chai anymore.
That's so
You can make
funny.
it, you can make it yourself.
I know. I need your recipe.
So Julia, how close are you? Like how many do you have on each leg?
I have one on the left, 2 PCs on the right.
Okay. And then Jen, what about you?
I'm 2 and 2, so I just need the 2 under, and then one of my controlled account is my son. And I'm still at the point where I have to focus on making sure I hit SC, so I haven't got to him yet.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me yet.
Sure.
For me.
Well, I wanted to tell a few more tips that work. These are things that work for me as a working mom too. So I'm sure some of you have heard this, but I am a big fan of the voice messaging. But my habit, I am like high on life, 5 a.m. to like 1 p.m. That's my like rainbow time. And I'm doing great right now, but my energy is best in the morning. So make sure you're inviting when you're at a high energy state, because your messages will be received so much better and you will be a magnet for success. And the voice messaging, I believe, is 100% the way to go. And then my habit is I invite in my car. So like literally, I don't get out of my car without connecting with someone, even just on my way home, even though I just told you my energy is not as high, but I was feeling pretty good. So I think I did 3 voice invites on my way home. But I don't have Google Sheets. I do good old pen and paper or my mind. But literally even like on the weekends or my days off or whenever, like the car equals inviting to me. So finding a habit around inviting is more important than anything you will do. So again, I don't track. I'm up to 100 a month. I have no idea. But most people, when I do the voice messaging, respond back and say, oh my gosh, it's so fun to hear your voice. So anyway, voice messaging has helped me a ton. Anyone that is like probing or asking, I offer to do a phone call with them or a quick Zoom. So when I do that, my conversion rate is very high. If they're going to get on a call with me, and I'm working too, and I have 3 boys and sports and all the things. So I don't give them like an hour and I don't go through the whole app, but I just make that connection. And we usually talk about their kids most of the time. I'm like, okay, before we get off, I want to tell you about how amazing this is. And they're like, okay, send me the link. Like literally. So that personal connection is so huge. So those are things that have worked really well for me. The car equals inviting, and most people I get on the phone or Zoom with them, and then it seals the deal. So,
Okay.
I don't know if that helps or not. And then, all the obstacles or the no's or whatever, just move on quickly from them because that's fine. And usually no means not now, as you all know. So,
So if somebody said no, would you go back to them the next program you have, or just let it ride out and see if they contact you?
yeah, I probably used to keep explaining options and great things about it, but not anymore. If someone says no, it's no for now, But the fun thing is like they'll keep watching. So I love inviting because inviting is getting people's eyes on what I do. So many times, whoever I invite, I see them all of a sudden looking at my stories often. And I've had a lot of
that too.
what's that?
I've noticed that too. And like I was talking, I actually have been reconnecting with a lot of friends from elementary school. And I have one of them as a client under me. But I was reconnecting with a friend from elementary school, and that was yesterday. And I mentioned it to her, and then she's like, no, I have to talk to my endocrinologist and I'll get back to you. And then I posted that I was at Crumble Cookie feeling guilt-free and on my stories, and she wrote back and she's like, how is Crumble guilt-free? I said, well, with my nutrition plan, I follow 80-20. So I'm 80%, vegetables all the time and lots of protein. I'm like, but life is too short to not eat a cookie. And I'm like, I'm going to eat the cookie, but I know that for dinner tonight, I am eating a recipe that's from my nutrition plan that I pulled off the website. And I actually gave her the recipe. I'm like, this is the recipe I shared in my group today. And then she wrote me, she's like, okay, how much does it cost? And then that's when I sent her the costing, and it was a no because it's too expensive and she has a ton of dental bills right now. And that's when I said, well, another option would be if you know two people that want to join you, the commission you would make off of that would almost pay for you to join. And then I also mentioned, I'm like, and the third option would be do the body bike package. It's only $50 a month, but it's 3 years. So you've got that commitment too.
Like, I don't even give that many options, to be honest. I think when, like, naturally, when I invite them, sometimes people shoot back and say, tell me the commitment, including financial. I do not fire back with that answer, actually. I'll be like, okay, real quick, what is your favorite kind of exercise? Are you in any kind of routine? Because that'll help me answer your question best. So then my next conversation is more about getting to know them, me talking less, getting more information from them. Because then I can be empathetic and make more connections and all that. I don't share the cost at all until like literally they say yes.
I don't share the cost until I'm sending them a cart.
Yeah, I mean, I will say like some phone calls, I mean, it's just, I guess I feel it out, but sometimes I'll be like, you're going to love this too because it's super affordable. And I mean, I don't know if you were on earlier, but I never get money objections. Because I genuinely feel like by the time they even get to that question, they're like sold. They're like so pumped. Yeah. So, and I also don't give them 80,000 options. I literally tell them about my mentorship for personal growth. I tell them about moving your body every day, and I talk about eating cleanish. I don't even really talk about the shake, honestly. I talk about it in really high level like terms. Because they don't know Shakeology from Beach Bar to collagen. They don't know what those things mean. And they don't, like, I remember even for me when I joined, I always saw people drink shakes and I always would be the person that would say, oh, I'd rather eat my food. But then when I
had somebody tell that too.
Yeah. And then when they told me it came with it, I was like, okay, perfect. And then I like loved it and felt so damn good. And I completely dropped my sweet craving. So I don't know. I think less is more, honestly. I really do. Okay. And really catering your responses to them as an individual. Like it's not a copy and paste job because everyone needs something different. Some people really need more of the nutrition. Some people just want friendship. Honestly, I have people in my posse that I know they're here because they just like connecting with me. And I'm not saying I'm great, but do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. We think you're great.
Oh, thank you very much. I do love all this stuff, but yeah, so I would keep it simple. I'd make your dream team list and I'd really focus on those connections with those people.
I like that dream team idea a lot, like putting it on paper and saying, if I was creating my own team,
Yes.
this is who would be on it.
Yes.
That is a really stellar idea that I'm
And
gonna
I
work
think
on.
I even reached out to those people and told them that. Like, I literally said, okay, I love coaching, which they already knew because I was like, here's a selfie of me working out. Like, I did all the shit, like they tell you not to do. I did all those things. But anyway, they knew I loved it. And I talked about it everywhere I went, even from the early days, because I felt like $1,000,000 and had all the energy. But anyway, so when I reached out to like my girlfriend, Melissa, I'm like, okay, I wanted you to know that I wrote down my dream team because I believe in all this journey so much and I want you a part of it. That's what I said. I didn't say because I'm trying to get to diamond. I said I want them a part of it because you are who matters to me and I want to spend more time with you, and you live in Connecticut and I live here in Wisconsin, and this will allow you to be in my life more and I want more of you in my life. Literally, that's what that looked like. And then she's like, okay, what do you mean? What do I need to do? Literally, that's how it went.
Yeah, I like the dream team idea.
And then of
Do-
course there's like there's the neighbors, or like you go to church or you go wherever and they're like, hold on, what are you doing? Why are you so excited all the time, dancing around? And I'm like, you should join me. It's so much fun.
My
So,
first two
yeah.
people that I signed up were like that.
They wanted to drink whatever you were drinking, right?
It was about a month and a half in, and they're like, okay, what are you doing? I don't know what you're doing, but you're different. What are you doing? And I was like, oh, well, let me just tell you.
Yeah, it's so good. And honestly, I don't see what you all post all the time. Sometimes it comes in my feed, but really be the poster of joy. There's
Yep.
already enough venting and all the things in this world. Like,
Yep.
people want to see positivity on their feed. And I mean, I posted a dinner plate with my new dinnerware last night. And I was like, I don't know how exciting this is. Do you know how many people reached out about my damn dinnerware and what Nate's recipe was for my
I did.
I know, I love it.
The dishes are really cute.
Thank you. I'm so
It
excited.
is. I was gonna say, did you buy it at Target?
No, we just had all white options. And we have this new pretty kitchen. Okay, I'll kind of show you guys. It's so fun. Like, here, this is the part that's done. Pew.
So awesome.
Nice.
Thank you. It's not done like the back. This is still part of it, and you can see. Okay, thanks. I won't bore you. But anyway, we're like unpacking our stuff to move back in, and I'm like, I can't use this old china in this brand new kitchen. So anyway, I got it at Wayfair. I've never
Okay.
I love Wayfair.
I buy a lot from Wayfair.
really. I had set up an account, and I literally typed in "fun china" on the World Wide Web. That's how I looked. So anyway,
That's
Well,
awesome.
it's very fun.
thank you. But my point is just like you want people to think of like, oh man, I need a dose of you in my day. And then all of a
Yep.
sudden you realize I can be a part of that for $139. What? And $15.99 a month. And okay, one last tip and then we should wrap it up. But whenever you have people, I don't think any of you are there yet, but like when you get like where you're diamond and you're holding, I always tell this tip to my team. So like if there's someone that you're like, gosh, I really don't want to ask them to be active, like I do challenges in my VOD groups. Like right now we're doing a Halloween challenge, and like tomorrow, Wednesdays and Fridays, you dress up as things. It's just for fun. Anyway, whoever wins these things, I have them buy things on their own account, and then I Venmo their total, because it helps us both then. So
That's
That's a fantastic
brilliant
idea.
idea.
I had that idea last year, and I just will be like, pick out something for $30. And they're like, really? And then oftentimes they like get something else on their own, but they're like, that part was only 22. I'm like, okay, perfect. Here you go. And it's a hell of a lot easier than me shipping something to them.
Yeah.
I'm really not good at shipping.
Yeah.
Because
I
you're
don't.
in a whole different store. You have
Yeah.
to go to a whole different place.
Well, and
Yes.
I live at Target, but still to buy it, package it, send
And
my
take
husband
it.
or me. Yeah,
Yeah.
what the heck. And so, yeah, even my own coaches, I'm like, treat yourself to the new XP Sweat t-shirt. And then it helps their volume and blah, blah, blah. But
My
anyway, that was,
internet is freezing.
oh, sorry.
That's a great idea. Or like the new mint chocolate chip beach bars to offer those as an incentive for something.
Yeah, I mean, I have a coach and I love her to death, but like when she was holding Diamond, I felt like she had to keep like paying for her dad to get active. I'm like, oh, Aaron, I don't want this because that's not like stable, right?
Point.
That takes the joy out of it. So as you can imagine, she's gone off and on, but she's amazing and I'm so proud of her. But you know, you don't want to get into a habit of like buying everything for your team. But I'm just saying, like, you know, even I remember when I was holding one of my coaches put someone new to keep her emerald under her, but she like ordered 40 PV and I was like, oh God. So I did it really Rico Suave, but I was like, have her get that little travel. I messaged her. I was like, welcome to our team for new coaches. I love to get them a little welcome gift. Get that little weekend getaway thing that has 1 stick of Energize, 2 beach bars.
Mhm.
And they were like, thank you so much. And it was like 20 PV. It was like perfect. But you know, anyway, there's lots of things on there, to be honest, that are fun for people to try. So
Yeah. I did have an idea for a meeting that I thought I would share with you for noob coaches. Like, I don't want to call it a hot seat, but if we could give you guys our script, like if we could sell Beachbody to you or talk to you and have a conversation and have you give us all the negatives and have us come back with it, I feel like that would be helpful
Like
because if
practice.
somebody said like a practice, if somebody says no to me, I'm like, okay, thanks. And I'm like,
well, sure. I mean,
back to people.
you can voice message me anytime and I'll give you feedback.
Okay.
My best feedback though is just be you and pretend you're telling like Jen, like one of your parents something exciting about their kids at school, or you're encouraging someone to come to your groomer because you do amazing job. Like, don't overthink it. The minute
Right.
you
Or
just be you, and like I told you, less is more. Like, less is really, really more.
that's why I shared my script yesterday. I'm like, did I just word vomit on that person? She also told me that she's done Beachbody before and it's never been effective for her, and that's because she doesn't do it. And I know, and it's too expensive. I'm like, and so inside my head, I'm like, well, your bike is still sitting there and you're not getting anything done, and you told me you need to change. So good luck doing that by yourself. Peace out.
Yeah,
Bye.
but anyone that says that stuff to me, I don't fire back. I'm like, okay, have a good night. I'm not going anywhere. But
Yeah.
if I sniff that kind of response, I don't even like. This is for fun and for joy for me, 100%. So this should not be stressful.
Okay.
The minute this is becoming stressful, you're going to convey that, unfortunately, and you're not going to get what you're putting out the right people. You're just not. And this is a journey that takes time. It's not like, I think Karen Utley wrote that today. I mean, this is like, it's a long journey. And that's why it's just so important to keep having fresh conversations, because you never know when it's going to be their time. And
I figure if I just keep having conversations, it's going to be more comfortable to have them.
Yeah. And I will tell you, it's so weird. Like 3 months ago, it was the month we went to Disney, and I went to Disney at like SC2. And usually I hit my goals like early in the month, and I was like, oh my God. And I kind of stressed about it secretly. And I hit SC6, but that was very low for me. And that was a hard month. So you're going to have months like that. And you're still a great leader and coach and awesome woman. So don't let these things like define your mood or how you parent or lead or work. I mean, this is a business of joy. And the minute it kind of isn't that, people get burnt out and move on. But like, bring the fun back. Every time a new month starts, I tell myself, who do I get to help this month?
Yep.
Because I used to think, oh God, can I find 3 more people? But like, instead I think, oh my gosh, who are the fresh invites who are the people that are going to get to join my posse this month? So
Makes sense.
really, the mindset thing is like incredible. But you're amazing. So I hope this was helpful.
This was helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a picture so we can put it in our little pods. Okay. Very fun.
Megan, hold on, do you smile?
Yeah, that's my, okay, one. Hold on, I'm having a glare in my, okay, one. I'm gonna take my glasses off for the love of God. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good.
I will close with this.
Yeah.
This is the second team that I've been on for Beachbody, and I left my other team, and I left my coach, who I was the only person that was really working under her, and she was part of another team. And when I left that team, that leader wrote me and said, "Where are you going?" And I explained to her why. So my original coach sent me a message yesterday, and it was a screenshot of what she had written on her team page. And it was so sad and demoralizing. And I was thinking about the differences between the two teams. And I was like, you know what? When I was on that team, no one ever reached out to me. No one ever, tried to help me along the way. There's no pods. There were no pod leaders. And I felt like I was totally alone. And on this team with you guys and the pod leaders, just the way you reach out and the way you actually want to help. Like, I'm not under you. I mean, indirectly probably, but I'm Julie's coach. But at the same time, I feel welcome.
Good.
And I just want to let you know that the vibe on this team is a lasting vibe and not a demoralizing vibe.
Yeah. Yay.
So thank you.
You belong here, of course. And I mean, again, whenever I see Julie in person, she's like, "Now who are you under again?" Like and she like for years sends me gifts, and I went to Florida at her home. And I mean, I sat at her table and like bawled my eyes out because they're saying like, I don't know why I'm even here but when I was crying and then she's crying and, I do know why I'm here because she has told me she loves my energy. And she always says, I run with runners and you're a runner, and not like physically jogging, but but it just meant so much to me to be there and her to believe in me too. And she's like, I think there's 5 coaches between us.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah, I feel really blessed to be a part of it all. I just love all this stuff. So I'm so happy you're here too.
I have to go, guys. I have to call my mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, have a good night. I'm going to go eat my veggies, Jen.
I'm like, oh my God, how many more days?
I know.
You're not helping. You're supposed to do that still.
I do really love it. Actually, it's my 4th time though, so I think it gets easier with time. And I lost 10 pounds, so I needed that.
Well, I mean, I did not. I've lost a few, and that's great. I'm fine with that. My thing is just, I don't know. I think I cook a lot, and then sometimes I think I'm like done with cooking, and I'm just like, so this week it's kind of monotonous, and I'm like, I do not want more tempeh.
I know. Well, I haven't even bought tempeh before, which is crazy. So we modify a lot. Like Nate just made a big batch of that red pepper sweet potato soup.
Yes, that is good. I'm enjoying that.
Yes.
And I have a salad for lunch today, though. Like, I had to put chickpeas in it. I was
same. Do you mean to tell you the world's worst secret? On Sunday, I had a brat. But we were at the neighbors and I was so freaking starving. I ate a bunless brat with onions on it, and it was like gold.
Yeah.
And I didn't really gain weight, just so you know. I mean,
okay.
I'm not obsessed about weight actually typically, but I was in a summer celebratory fog I needed to get out of. So I just love that we have tools to like try. And the cool thing is, Jen, now you can tell someone about this, like you can.
Yes, I can definitely do that. I didn't mind that detox drink at all.